As you listen. Back.
Yes.
I've actually went and saw the movie Guardians of the Galaxy 3. And I guess I would say
you hate.
And I don't hate it. It wasn't.
You actually like it?
Well, okay, let's ask the question.
Okay.
Is this based off of a series that really makes like it's a comic book? Or is this just made up bullshit just to get people to watch Guardians of the Galaxy? Because I mean, Howard the Duck was in it. I saw that.
Yes.
They were going to make Howard the Duck.
Remember him from back in the day in the 80s movie?
I remember Howard the Duck. I'm just curious.
I don't remember that movie at all.
Just feed me why this
nerd.
Why this movie was better. Why was this movie the better of the three? Just tell me why.
I don't think it's the best one of the three. I actually like one the best still. But it was really good. I do think it was really good.
Oh.
I rewatched one recently too, even to confirm that.
So we may have technical difficulties here. My internet's
Can you hear me?
I hear you, but I'll let you know if I need you to repeat something because it's
okay
fucked up sometimes. My internet goes so.
Oh yeah, I heard you. I'm hearing it. I'm hearing you. Okay, so you sound all right.
All right. So give me the Howard. Give me the 411 of why this movie is like. Is this the end of Guardians of the Galaxy?
I believe, as you know it for sure, because James Gunn is now the head of DC. I don't think it's the end, but it might be the end of their movies for a little bit so they could figure out who could take over for it. The team is, I mean, obviously this is spoilers, so anybody watching this is just going to know we're reviewing the show, the movie. So yeah, at the end in the credit scene, there is a new team, essentially. So yeah, I think you'll see him again, but some of the actors don't want to return. So, and they've been very vocal about it. So
why don't they want to
Gamora?
Why don't they want to return?
Gamora and Drax are done. Drax for how James Gunn was treated. Plus, I think, the way Batista, who plays Drax, wants to really maybe work out the way it was to be. I mean, I don't even think he was shirtless at all in this. Not that I care, but apparently he was wearing his uniform or a shirt most of it. Gamora, I think Zoe Saldana, I think is how you say her name. I think she's probably just done. Maybe I'm guessing with superhero genre movies, maybe, and maybe she's just over it. I don't know.
Pretty good at it. She's pretty good at it. I mean, I like her character.
She's very good. I don't think. I mean, really, both of them are painted green. I guess you can recast them with makeup, whatever. Zoe, I like a lot, but I liked her first version of her character. This one was kind of salty, and by design, obviously. So, yeah, if she doesn't want to do it again, this is the perfect jumping off point, I guess. But yeah, some of them won't return, and then James Gunn is the head of DC. It's not going to feel the same without it. This is clearly James Gunn franchise, these three movies. The difference is one was really excellent. Two, majority of the consensus was a letdown. Some people really liked it. It's just I tried watching it again, and all Batista's forced like fucking Ed McMahon from the fucking Johnny Carson show. Anybody who gets that reference, he's just laughing stupidly throughout the whole quarter of the movie. I couldn't even get through it again, and I don't remember many things good except maybe the Star-Lord and Gamora romance from that. And then 3, obviously very good. Some people, I mean, one coworker said it was really good, and that's what kind of hyped me to see it. The other one, he was too hyped, so maybe don't get yourself too hyped to see it, but it's take you on an emotional roller coaster. I think it's right up there with 1. This to me would be the true sequel to 1. I would skip volume 2. Maybe you could watch the Christmas special that's on Disney Plus, but all it does is kind of set up laughs, basically. And if you're not really a fan of stupid comedy, then probably don't even need to see that.
Well, it was full of dumb comedy. I will say that.
A lot of
I
lot of
have
arguing.
I have to say, um, the the darkness of this movie was probably the most surprising. This was probably one of the darker movies that I didn't think was going to be. I don't know. I didn't think it was going to be that dark. So
You didn't expect it, obviously. You
someone
felt
said
like
someone
maybe,
said
oh,
it
it's
was
the Guardians. I'm gonna laugh.
someone said, well, it's not even that. So I'm like a dog person and I like animals. And I think this is probably crossing the line of somewhat
Mm,
cruelty of
one of those people,
showing a
eh?
lot.
One of those
Well,
triggered people that didn't like this movie because of the simulated. It's fake.
I
It's
it
fake. It's
it
not
don't
a. This is
matter. It
not
just
real.
paints the picture of animal cruelty. And I didn't like the bad guy.
Because
The
he
bad
did
guy
a great
really
job.
he was a bad guy
He
and
did a great
he
job.
was constantly
Yeah.
angry. And I was just like, I
I liked him. I thought he did a phenomenal job. I liked him in the Peacemaker series. He played the one de facto, whatever, not de facto, but like the leader of the group with Peacemaker. Those who've seen it, and I thought he was tremendous here. I actually think some people have hinted like maybe because of Jonathan Major's problems that maybe they could tie him into being a variant of Kang and have him assume the role of Kang. He was that good. Yeah, I thought he kind of stole the show. For me, he was just incredible. And yeah, he was a prick. There's no doubt about that. I mean, he was animal experimentation, evolution. He was by design. That's what he was supposed to be. So if you go in there thinking, oh, I can't handle this, it's a movie for one. And number two, yeah, it's disturbing, but it's meant
it's
to
a
be disturbing.
movie. It is a
Yeah,
movie,
it's a movie.
but it's a
Yes.
little bit, I don't know. It was dark and it made my wife cry quite a bit. And
Yeah, it's just a watershed movie. I don't think you might not have a heart if you're not probably tearing up at some point during this film just because it's an emotionally charged film. But I mean, you got to remember at the end of the day what this is. I mean, there's been people like, oh, I don't, maybe it's good, but like this is a movie for one again. And number two, it's meant to do that to you because the villain is a dastardly villain. He's experimenting on animals, he's experimenting on the raccoon. Obviously, you should know that going in. If you see the trailer back in the first movie and so something the frag did they do to him, you're gonna have to expect that this is gonna be his probably not a pleasant story because he something happened to him and yeah, he's an animal.
I don't know. I
Now
don't
he's
think it
a
really
humanoid,
a lot of people
maybe.
said it painted the picture of this is the backstory of Rocket. And I guess, I mean, we didn't see it. We didn't have to see it in a 3-hour movie on that, but I guess it's the backstory on Rocket. Maybe it's painting the picture that Rocket's now the leader of the Guardians of the Galaxy. I'm sure that'll be
Yes, exactly that.
successful. That'll be successful, and everybody can watch Rocket. I didn't understand why Space Bud was in the movie. I don't know who the hell Space Bud is and why that's bugging.
Space Mud. That is
Yeah,
pretty funny. Yeah,
the
that's
gold
that's
retriever.
that's a
Who's that?
real that's a real character called Cosmo. It's supposed to be based off the first dog in space that got. I think that's a tragic story because like the Russian dog got lost because
Oh,
they never came down. I don't think I don't know if it was the female dog, whatever, but yeah. So she was in the collector's cages along with Howard the Duck. So she's the one licking his wounds. I think that's at the end of the first movie. I think in the credit scene. So yeah, apparently she's a telekinetic, whatever you say it, dog, and
yeah.
she is a real Marvel character like Howard the Duck. So he just used her, and I
So
mean that's fine.
since since we
There's
talk
a lot
about
of
since
there's
we
a
talk
lot of cool moments for like I love Leah Thompson.
do
And
you remember
you
Howard the
could
Duck
put
now?
I remember Leah Thompson. Was she kissing him throughout that film? Maybe that's a little
Dude,
disturbing, but
they got all upset because she had like sex with him. Do you remember that part where he had a little rubber condom in his wallet? You know, Remember that
I
part?
do not remember this film. No.
Watch Howard
I just
Duck.
remember. I
Remember
do
this?
remember.
He had a little wallet, so she was like seducing him in this movie. We're totally changing subjects here, but this is what bothered people about Howard
He
Duck.
is in the film. Howard Duck is in the film for a
Howard
brief
Duck's in the, but he doesn't look like
moment.
this character, which is back in probably the 80s, maybe early 90s was Howard the Duck when they had to put him. They didn't have CGI, so they put people in suits and made them into the so they had a little
Imagine that
they had
they
a
put
little
him in a suit.
they had a little person in a duck suit and he ran around, little Muppets. And so Leah Thompson right there was in it, and she was hot during that time because she was in the freaking
She still looks good, dude. I don't care what anybody says. She still looks hot.
what?
No, have you seen her recently? She still looks good. I don't care.
I'll look her up
10,
while we talk.
15
But
years older
anyways,
than me. 10,
okay,
15 years older than me. I don't care.
just back off. Just calm down real quick. So Howard the Duck.
You're the one that put a picture of her under me.
So Howard the Duck. Do you need a moment? So this is Howard Duck.
Yeah.
So Howard the Duck. He was in the movie, and no one, including myself, knew what the hell Howard the Duck. I thought it was just a show, like it was just a movie being made. Had no idea it had anything to do with Marvel.
Like Alf?
Yeah, is Alf part of Marvel?
No, but like
okay.
I don't know.
So we just
maybe Alf like girls too. Who knows? Maybe he liked the oldest daughter on Alf. Who knows?
So this is the world we live in, though. Everything was Muppets and all that stuff back in the late 80s, 90s. So Howard the Duck comes out. They make this whole movie. And then the big controversy of Howard the Duck was there was a part in there where she was kind of like flirting with him. And she was rubbing his feathers and she was like, yada, yada. And then it pans away to where you see through a curtain where you can just see the silhouettes of the duck and her. And she kisses the duck and then it fades out. Right away, everybody's like, what the hell? She's having sex with a duck? That's bestiality. And that's how the whole movie got like really blown.
Are we going to get kicked off of YouTube for mentioning this at all?
Bestiality?
I probably might want to be careful. I'm not sure what that's.
I'm not going. I'm just telling him, explaining the movie.
Explicit language. We didn't, just so YouTube knows, we didn't write Howard the Duck. We're not advocating this.
So anyways,
we don't have any part of this.
Howard the Duck, that's what got it. So then she's going through his stuff because he's staying at her house, and she finds like a little duck condom, like a little condom for whatever. And it just again, this is PG-13 back in the 90s or 80s. So
are you gonna make a rubber ducky?
No
reference.
So I'm sure. So that's all I remember. Honestly, out of the whole Howard the Duck, the movie, that's the only part I remember.
That's more than I do.
But that was them freaking out
shit from this movie
about Howard the Duck and that whole scene. And then
I do remember her looking like that with that wild hair. I do remember him.
Well, that was the 80s, right?
But I don't remember the movie at all, and I probably should watch it again.
Why would you're gonna watch? You're gonna watch for that. You're gonna watch for that part right there.
I don't even remember that, but yeah, I mean, I'm sure it happened. I'm not calling you a liar.
You're calling me a liar. Here it is.
I said I'm not. I'm
1986. American scene fiction comedy film directed by.
That was a very long time ago for those of us.
1986, and then right here, the condom scene. Right. That's another thing. I can't show these because I'm assuming
we will be copyright struck, I believe.
Here, I'll get it right here. The screen.
Nobody's watching this except when you play Howard the Duck.
Howard
watching now.
When Howard, you know what? We had over 100 views. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I know.
It is right
still
here.
Like to make a joke
the awkward
movie
scene
have some
of Howard the Duck.
Week.
Screencrush.com. And then there was the time that Leah Thompson.
Ryan Aries from Screen Crush.
And it says, how do you know that? It says an alien duck.
That says
the fondness for cigars and beamed earth. Leah Thompson takes him in the scene. A pair joke about hooking up, but things almost became very real started putting the moves on the new duck friend. Thankfully, she stopped before she could take off her clothes or whatever, take off her top. That was the other part that was kind of weird. But this is what created like a huge uproar. Like people were like, "What the hell's going on?" It was a little weird. It was a little weird part. See,
have you seen the movie Zombieland 2?
No, I didn't like Zombieland 1.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't really see that one, but like apparently her daughter's like an actress all over the place. I'm just that's the freshest thing on her mind. You could totally see Leah Thompson and her. It would be funny to make a new Howard Duck and have her daughter in it, and then
so
make it better.
Okay, back to your Leah Thompson crush. Calm down. I'm gonna get all worked up. This part confused me too. So this is the girl from
Girl or Alien? Which one did you just point at?
Well, the girl.
Karen Gillan.
She's from Jumanji, right?
Yes, she's also from Doctor Who, I believe was
right.
her first big
break.
She
was also in that movie I like, Gunpowder Milkshake. I didn't
Peanut Butter Falcon, Gunpowder Milkshake.
She's not
Let's
Peanut
just
Butter
throw some words together and make a movie.
No, Gunpowder Milkshake.
I don't even know
Gunpowder Milkshake is a
Falcon.
Gunpowder Milkshake is a great movie. Go, you
make it up. Make it up movies.
I recommend you see Gunpowder Milkshake. That's a great movie. So, anyways, this person,
San Francisco Tarantula. That was a great film.
Why are you getting so upset, dude? I'm trying
to. I'm not upset.
You want to see Guardians of the Galaxy? You told me to go see it. I spent $14 to see this movie.
Are you angry that you've seen it? That's what I want.
I sat there for 3 hours and my ass was sore.
And cried. You were crying.
I didn't cry at all. I was a little upset about I was a little upset the little bunny rabbit spider guy died, but that was the only thing. I thought that thing was the cutest, and then they shot him. It was a little upsetting. So, anyways, go back to
the otter. Thought they shot the otter, didn't they?
The otter and the walrus, and they shot the little bunny rabbit. It just bothered me.
They wanted you to hate the High Evolutionary.
I did. I hated that guy. Anyways,
Chuck Wheaty, played by Chuck Wheaty, and I don't know how to pronounce his last name.
Okay, let's go to this character right here. This character,
Nebula.
Did she not?
Nebula.
Did she not?
React when you just
okay? She gained weight. She gained weight.
I don't want to touch that with a 10-foot pole.
Why?
Maybe she did,
but she looked a lot bigger.
I like Karen Gillan. What if she's one of the 88 people who watched the last one? I don't want to scare her away.
Oh, here it is right here. Karen Gillan responds to criticism of Nebula's appearance. See? Told you. I couldn't even recognize her. She looked a little heavier. Well, I like her in every movie, but for some reason the character, I don't know if it was the suit. I don't know what it was. I thought maybe it was the outfit. I didn't even think it was the same person. She looked less than stellar on the debut of the theatrical poster for Guardians Galaxy 3 is what they were commenting on. And then responded on
we have 40 minutes.
February 17th. That's a long time.
We have 40 minutes to cover a 2.5-hour film of Guardians of the Galaxy, and this is what you remember from Guardians of the Galaxy 3. I just remember how big
she looked a little bigger. She looked bigger. I mean, the poster you're using right now.
I don't like animal violence.
Your head.
Nebula was twice the size. I remember from the last poster.
Movie. Well, here's the problem. Okay,
move my head.
Okay, see, that's what they're commenting on. Is that part of the poster? If that was really her, and that's what I was thinking. I was thinking she looked a lot bigger. Sorry to offend those that are out there, but she just looked a little. It didn't look like the same Nebula from the last one. I don't know what I'm saying.
And Sean Gunn looks skinnier.
Well, no, and the same with Batista.
There's really people heavy. Who are mad.
Batista looks like he has.
Batista didn't want to take off his shirt for this one.
Well, he looked really.
That's
big.
What I heard. Like he was tired of playing this role. He probably was big.
He looked like he was heavy, like not.
Batista. I mean, he probably didn't want to work out like he used to. How'd you think Star-Lord looks? Since we're just. taking a look at all
Star
every
Lord
single
again. He
the
didn't
appearance
look.
of
He didn't.
everybody.
Again, he
There's
looked.
him.
Everybody looked heavier in the movie. Like they looked like they did.
Not Gamora. Gamora always looks good.
Yeah, alien. I like the aliens. So, anyways, I thought
Leah Thompson.
Gamora looked a little bit like she looked a little bit more like a pirate, kind of like her hair was all reddish and it had like a little tint to it, and she kind of looked a little more like she was like a rebel in this one because
She was meaner.
I had no idea that
if you want,
I didn't know that she didn't know
yeah,
what was going on. Like I thought I couldn't understand why she wasn't in it at the beginning. Then I had to be told that she died in the last one, which I didn't.
Yeah, so this is not the same Gamora. So I mean, I guess if you're just watching Guardians films, you would be very confused. But most people seen Endgame. So in Endgame, Thanos kills her to sacrifice her for the stone. So that version of Gamora, some people thought, oh, maybe if you touch the soul gem again, it'll reunite her personalities. Well, this is not the case here. So essentially, her essence was in the soul world or whatever you want to call it. She, for all intents and purposes in the Marvel Universe, died. So during the snap, all that stuff, she's gone. So what happened when the Avengers save time and they bring back, all the people that he snapped away? Well, Thanos from the past found about this plan, and of course, he brought. At the time, he still had Nebula and his daughter Gamora with him during that time. So she didn't go through anything. If you watch Volume 1, you could kind of see that she's ashamed of all the stuff she did with Ronan. So at that point, Thanos had never traded her to Ronan. So she's never did all the atrocities and guilt and all that remorse that she committed with Ronan. So essentially, all that history of her growth of a character, you're supposed to understand that she's still kind of nasty and bitter and whatnot. This is not the Gamora that could grow to love Peter Quill, Star-Lord. So, and they did a good job from it. There's no happy ending to that story, despite the many efforts of Star-Lord throughout the film. And I think that's probably ends up being a good thing. It does lose some of, I mean, if you really liked the growth in Gamora and you liked the Gamora character, which I did, especially when I watched Guardians 1, she's got a heart. She's just not the same character here. So maybe that's one of the reasons I didn't
And what was
like this over one.
What was with the dudes with the guards? It looked like they were just swollen bodies that had all the little chunky suits.
I don't know what
and their little
that was.
And their little comedy that they were doing when they were making fun of each other. It just seemed, I don't know. It just seems
like just typical Marvel James Gunn humor in these films. And if you don't like it, it was surrounded by a lot of other intense stuff, so you could get past. If the movie is taking itself seriously, which it does more than Volume 2, there are a lot of dumb moments that I'm not going to admit that there isn't, and I'm not really a huge fan of those.
Did you say dumb? That's it.
No, but there's a lot of Curb Your Enthusiasms type humor, like a lot of arguing humor and like all that type of Larry David, like, oh yeah, just shut up, and I don't know that if there are any critiques, that kind of does get old after a while, but at the same time, the movie is surrounded by a lot of high stakes intensity. It's not as good as one, in my opinion, but it's right there. I mean,
it's a copy.
You got to have a somewhat serious type of tone, otherwise you'll be like Volume 2, and you'll get lost in dumb humor.
Yeah, I would give Guardians of the Galaxy 3 a rental on a Saturday night. Wait till it comes to pay-per-view or something, because
Disney Plus.
My opinion is it's a stretch to keep making these shows. It's not what the general public of teenagers and young adults want to see. They want to see action movies. They want to see movies that don't. I know it's the origin, as everybody kept saying about Rocket, and I get it. And if that's what they're going, the direction is, they're trying to create a Rocket origin story.
That was the point of the film.
So, but then the other characters just felt like they were forced to watch them do their thing. So, like the Gamora character with Quill, and they're all trying to get together and relive their life of a love story. And then you got Groot, who has a different body this time, looks more like a teenager, big guy, but then all of a sudden at the end he talks. And then you have,
well, that's supposed to shout out to a lot of those groups. That's supposed to be a let into that you could understand Groot. Like at first, if you don't know Groot, you don't understand him. So that was kind of like an inside peek into what they heard,
and
not
then
what he really said.
and then you have Batista's character and the elfy looking character or whatever that Mantis character.
Yeah.
This relationship, but not a relationship, and kind of going back and forth. And then you have the rocket thing, which is pretty much the entire movie, where you have a lot of flashbacks and you discuss how they were experimenting on animals and then they started experimenting on children. And so all of that is just the dark side, in my opinion, for a Disney film. A little dark, and probably a little bit I could see people getting kind of upset. But again, it's a movie. I get it. You say it's a movie. I get it. It's a movie. It doesn't mean that it doesn't bring up feelings of people saying that they didn't want to see that. There wasn't anything explicit. That's the thing. There wasn't anything explicit going on other than the three animals dying.
Yeah, I mean, they're not showing him torturing him. Like, you got to clarify this for the people who are it. But yeah,
They did hint when they were showing the video of him getting worked on, and he was all squealing.
Well, yeah, I mean, but like,
they're like, hold still, and they're cutting into it. As far
as the other stuff is, he just straight up executes Rocket's buddies. That is sad. But like a lot of movies, countless movies, yeah, there's villainous, crazy, just, he was a villain. It's what he did. And yeah, I mean, he blew up his own counter-Earth planet, which was a bunch of basically evolved animals. So the guy was a nasty, nasty prick.
And I didn't understand either why his face looked like that until I realized that it was because Rocket smashed them all up. Again, if Rocket could have done that earlier, why didn't Rocket just do that to begin with? Why didn't Rocket just attack him and cut up his face? So overall,
what are you talking about? Like in the fight that they were having at the end?
Remember when he was, after he shot his buddies, and he smashed him with that face, and I don't know if he was hitting him with the card or whatever he was doing, but then he then basically at the end, they took his face off. His face looked all cut up, like Rocket did that to him, and then you realize. But I mean, overall, it's a movie. It has a bunch of following. People are going to want to watch it. I agree. It's probably one of those. It's better than the second one. It wasn't as clowny and goofy, but I do believe that it's still. I don't know. I would rather see.
Did it feel long to you? Like that was one criticism.
Sports movie.
Did it?
I'd rather watch
hockey players fighting each other without sticks.
Dude, I've been watching. I watched Prime Time on Prime, and that was pretty cool. With a little Deion Sanders. So, all right, you got your last 10 minutes of this. So, if you have anything else you'd want to follow up, you're not really selling me on this movie. You always say watch these movies, but you don't ever sell me. You don't tell me anything. You just tell me that.
Why would I can't tell you a spoiler until you see it? I mean,
who cares? If someone clicks on this, we will warn them that this is going to be telling you the movie.
Well, I mean, before this episode, obviously, but when I told you to go see it, but no, the high evolutionary operates on Rocket. That's pretty much was the hint going into this film. You knew he was operated on, and yeah, there's going to be simulated animal evolutionary, whether you call it prodding, torture, maybe alluded to. It's very sensitive moments, but it's again.
So let me ask you: is there a problem in the movie community of people saying that they didn't like that part of the movie? Did it bother people?
Yeah, there's a small portion out there. Just like anything, there's people who are complaining about everything.
Obviously, there's complaining. It's just bitching about Nebula looking not like the original poster.
Which I didn't even know coming into this episode, to be honest with you.
Right away, I was like, what? She doesn't even look like the same person. So originally, I thought it was a different person. Then I noticed that halfway through.
That's an exaggeration.
Halfway through the movie, her outfit changed, and then it changed her whole look. So I think it was the outfit. That's what I think it was. I think it was
Yeah,
a
I mean, it
bad
could have been. I
outfit.
mean,
She looked really
they
dirty and
done.
just she looked like she didn't look like Nebula from the original ones, right?
I don't know if that's by design, besides the natural actors aging, but I don't know, to look like they've gone through a lot of shit. I mean, her character essentially was not snapped out, so she's lived longer than all these characters from the 5 year jump that they did with the Thanos
Nope, they froze. See, I told you. Hold on,
Infinity War, storyline, but
hold
those
on.
things don't bother. Now you can't hear me.
Hold on, I can hear you. Okay, now say it again. Your video, bro.
I'm edited out.
Say it again. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know where I left off, but basically, just all these things. I can't find a stopping point as the middle of a point. But but if any of these things bother you, like animal violence, sensitivity, I mean, it's a movie, for Pete's sake. So when you go into this, just realize there's going to be a dire villain. Oh, why are you laughing? He's going to be torturing or
go ahead and say it again.
Evolving animals.
All right. So again, as you're my comic book guru,
you have 10 minutes, but I'm going to chop you up into nothing.
We have we actually have 7 minutes left. So as a comic book guru that you are, is this one of the better Marvel movies, or is this not a good sequel to a Marvel movie?
I think it's probably up there for their offerings, without a doubt. Probably, except for probably rivaling Spider-Man, the last one, the Into the No Way Home. I think may have been the title of that, if I'm remembering right. That one was probably the best, maybe in the last 3-4 years, or whatever. This one would be right behind it, I think.
All right.
If you like the first Guardians, this is probably the proper sequel to it, and it's a great story of Rocket's origins. Going to pull at your heartstrings. You might cry if you have a heart. And then the characters are older, as alluded to by Coach JC. They might look a little different, and
they don't look like they evolved. They look like it looks like it's been like years since they've. I don't know. So that okay,
go back. It has been years.
Okay, I didn't know that. So go back to this then.
I didn't know that.
I didn't know it's been. No, I didn't know it was like supposed to be like 20 years later or whatever.
Well, 20 years, but
everybody looked older and less fit. so, dude, it's just my opinion. Whatever I say,
you don't look the same from the First Me podcast.
We don't look the same.
We look a lot bigger, both of us.
I do. I've lost.
Well, there was no such thing as us in the First Me podcast. You listen. We just started doing these videos.
I'll show you some pictures. So
we sound different. We sound older.
You were 18.
We sound older.
Okay.
So we sound real old now from 2018.
The last 5 minutes, the previews before this movie. Captain Marvel. Good.
I've never seen the Ms. Marvel Disney Plus show, and I have no desire to. That looks like the most annoying Marvel character alive. Just sorry. She just looks very annoying.
The blonde-haired girl? Is that who you're talking
about? No, the Ms. Marvel.
Captain Marvel? Oh, the girl that transforms into her.
Brie, I don't want to shit on Brie Larson any more than most people do in her.
I think she's great. Face, but I think she's great. I liked her.
Yeah, she did a good job in Captain Marvel 1. And I love Sam Jackson. Samuel Jackson's great.
I like her.
And if he's got this.
So does this have a connection, though? Is this another Marvel?
The first 21 Jump Street?
Yeah, she was in it.
Was she a baby in that?
No. 21 Jump Street with the movie. The movie.
Yeah.
Noah Hill and all them. She was one of the high school kids.
Oh, there was a second. You were talking about a second one to that?
21 Jump Street, the movie with Noah Hill. You don't remember?
Jonah Hill.
You don't remember that?
Oh, I
You,
thought they redid it, but then
what do you watch?
the
What do you
comedy.
watch? Do you just hang out and watch comic book movies? Do you ever see any other movies outside of the world of comics and wrestling?
Evil Dead, Evil Dead Rise.
So you go from happy to sad to gory.
Just my life is an emotional roller coaster.
I go to the lives and troubles of wrestling to everything else that sucks. And then I go happy, and then I go to sad.
I totally wish I could make
And
a
Coach
work joke, but I
Anderson's like,
can't
"Did
right
you ever
now.
watch Friday Night Lights?" And you're like, "Was that a movie?" So you probably never seen
Real
Friday
quick, we were going through codes at work. We have like colors for codes. Like code red would be like a fire. I don't want to reveal where I work, but then obviously they don't have one for blue. So I just said code blue is how we all feel inside every day we work.
Do you say it on your radio? Code blue, and everybody.
That's what I would like to say. We all feel you. Code blue.
Code blue. Everybody looks sad
every day. Code blue. That's just what I'm gonna say when I. How are you doing today? Code blue.
Code blue. Sad face.
Every day.
Feel like rocket. Rocket.
the people at the end of this film when they don't remember when he releases all the raccoons and all the animals and what such a great feeling that was and how his friend almost dies, and they just remember that his imaginary otter friend got shot.
So that character pulled on my heartstrings right away. It just
Did you cry, didn't it?
No, the part that
so yeah, all this evolution, and then suddenly bam.
The part that bothered me was when he was a little baby and they took his little head off and they stitched it up. And
oh yeah,
otter was making him feel bad, and he said it hurts. And then I was like,
then he said hurts. Yeah.
So that part was sad.
Yeah, but he gets better. He's like this. It's like the smartest freaking character in the entire Marvel universe. So you can't feel sad for him because of that operation. He became a man that freed the slaves. Basically, at the end of the,
I didn't feel bad. I didn't feel
like Abraham Lincoln. He saved everybody.
I didn't feel bad about the turtle. I'll tell you that. Don't like turtles. So
the turtles.
The turtle.
No, that was a bunny.
No, it was a turtle. Got all crazy and they started jumping around in the cage, and then they terminate him because of the little.
Yeah.
Turtle didn't bother me.
Yeah. The war pig.
Turtle.
Evolved.
War pig didn't bother me. Didn't bother me.
Yeah.
But raccoons. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's good. That's a little hard.
Hey, he finally embraced his raccoonage.
He finally knew he's a raccoon. All right, that's me.
Species raccoon.
The most boring review ever of Guardians of the Galaxy, where we just ran all over the place. See Howard Duck, 1986.
Fat shaming Nebula.
I did not say that. I
Howard the Duck.
Say that. I just said she looked bigger. So I didn't think it was the same character. Maybe she's lifting weights. Maybe she's on a high protein diet. So who cares what I say? I mean, shit, it's not like I'm a perfect specimen. So anyways,
fucking not the